My brother had sugar issues when we were growing up. My parents did everything to try and save him from himself, including ignoring me and my sister to dedicate themselves to him. I guess it worked. They got him into rehab and he's clean and sober now. That is great for him. I, however, have a shattered relationship with my parents. He stole them from me. He stole them from Sis. He also stole thousands of dollars worth of my belongings. His wife recently passed away, and he isn't doing well. Our parents passed away during the global issue. He contacted me and asked if I would take his son if he died. I said no. Our sister refuses to speak with him, so I'm his only choice. He's begging me so his son won't end up in foster care. So I said I'd take his son if he paid me back for everything he ever stole from me. I told him only the monetary stuff would count, which he cannot afford to do. So my 1999 Jeep that I paid myself and he stole and crashed, and that my parents begged me not to report stolen so he wouldn't go to jail. My entire Uncanny X-Men comic collection, that sort of thing. I said he could never pay me back our parents missing my wedding because they were dealing with his BS. My wife says that I'm being too harsh and that an innocent child is involved. I can't look at that kid without thinking of everything his father did to me. I don't think I would provide a good home for him. He's probably better off in foster care. Am I the idiot for telling my brother to pay me back everything he stole from me if he needs a new father for his kid? Edit. I have no relationship with my nephew. I've bought him a Christmas gift or two. Same for his birthday. That's it. And my parents' inheritance? My sister and I paid for their funerals. There was nothing left after a lifetime of cleaning up after him. Not the idiot. You should definitely not take custody of his child when you know you can't separate your animosity and resentment for your brother from having a relationship with your nephew. You're not a monster. You're a human being with feelings. I do question why you even answered the phone or agreed to talk to him. All it does is bring back the anger and resentment you feel. The screw-around phase is over, and now it's finding out time. He wants you to commit so he can dump the kid on you and live a commitment-free life with no guilt. He essentially ruined your life. He stole from you. He took your relationship with your parents. I mean, he even caused them to miss your wedding. He can't treat you that horribly for your entire life and then expect you to do something that big for him? That's simply not the way the world works. I think your brother needs a reality check. And remind your wife that an innocent child, you, was screwed over by your toxic brother. Listen, no one can take your parents. The parents selfishly prioritize the brother over their other children. As simple as that. Also, the man lost his wife and both of his parents within a couple of years of each other. Of course he isn't doing well and thinking what would happen if his kid lost his other parent. It's a normal thing to think about and plan for. Wait up. Why isn't your brother stepping up for his kid after his wife passed away? Is he implying that he can't manage and wants to dump the kid on your doorstep? Backstory aside, no one should be pressured into parenthood. The commitment he's asking you to make, fostering and adopting a child, is a huge ask. It's such a massive, tasking, time-consuming, expensive responsibility. It's not some tiny ask, like a ride somewhere. I do feel for the child, though. He's going through something unimaginably difficult. The death of one parent, about to lose another, it sounds like, then the uncertainty of what'll happen to him next. My wife, kids, tween female, younger tween female, pre-tween male, young male grammar schooler, preschool male, and I just spent 3 weeks at our cabin while we got some repairs done on our house. One of our tweens, Rose, has leukemia. A lot of the activities around the cabin are outdoors, and Rose doesn't usually have the energy for that. So one of her favorite activities has been watching the wildlife from this big window seat in the master bedroom and taking pictures of what she sees. Her goal since she started doing this was to see a bear. There are some in the area, but seeing one is rare. She asked me to take her up to the window seat after dinner and usually falls asleep watching for bears. Towards the end of the first 3 weeks, I had to take her to the hospital for chemo, 3.5 hours each way. That night, she fell asleep in the window seat again, and when I got up to carry her to bed, there were 2 bears close to our cabin. I called my wife over to see, and I took a picture on Rose's iPad, but my wife wanted to wake Rose up so she could see. She hadn't gotten to see a bear on this trip. I told my wife she needed to rest, and that showing her the picture would be enough, but my wife still tried to wake her up. I stopped her again and got Rose in bed. The following day, I told Rose that there were bears last night and showed her the picture. She asked if I woke her up. I said yes because I didn't want her to get upset, but my wife told Rose that I wouldn't let anybody wake her up. We didn't see any more bears for the rest of the trip, and Rose has been devastated. She refused to speak to me and deleted the pictures I took for her because apparently it doesn't count. She's even refusing to sleep next to me. She's been sleeping between me and my wife since she got sick, so my wife has had to sleep in Rose's room since the trip. My wife is even talking about taking Rose back to the cabin for a week to try to see a bear. I don't think it was a big deal, but my wife and Rose are still upset with me, so I wanted to know if I was the idiot. You are the idiot. You decided for her, even though your wife clearly told you were wrong. Then you disregarded your wife's opinion as well. And guess what? You were wrong. So from this outsider's perspective, it looks like my female child doesn't know what she wants. My female spouse doesn't know either. They don't really know their own minds. I know better. Also, why lie about it? It either mattered, so wake her, or it didn't, so be honest. I mean, his little daughter has cancer. He probably thought his sick child needed her rest more than seeing a bear. I'm hesitant to call OP's overprotectiveness some misogynistic character flaw. That said, that poor kid wanted to see a bear, and OP's need to reckon with how indulging his feelings the way he did hurt hers. I know people who are still messed up and traumatized as adults because their parents' emotional response to their childhood illness robbed them of their agency and strained the relationship. Overprotectiveness? How is being overprotective by seeing a bear, the one thing your cancer-ridden daughter has wanted to see, and choosing not to let your daughter see said bear, overprotective? OP is an idiot for denying a child a most likely once-in-a-lifetime free opportunity that practically stares the family in the face because you think you know better than your wife and child. I hope OP genuinely realizes he screwed up and tries to make it up to his daughter. The 20 or 30 minutes she would be awake to see the bears would not have impacted her health. That would have been a fantastic memory for her. Not to mention, she would have cherished any picture she took forever, however long her forever might be. You know it was wrong because you lied about it. And why are you wasting time getting judgment from internet strangers when you could be attempting to arrange a bear meeting for your sick child with a wildlife or charity organization? Do better. My sister and I were both given nature names by our parents. My sister used to be Lark, and I'm Indigo, named after the plant. Our mom changed her name to a nature name when she was 19. For our parents, our names needed to be easy to say and spell, but they wanted uncommon names. My sister was never super fond of her name, but around 16, she got really annoyed by her name and told our parents she would change it. They offered her support and asked if she wanted to change it then or wait. She decided to change her name then, but couldn't decide what she wanted to be, so she waited. She changed her name at 20 to a more common and classic timeless name. Think Emily or Elizabeth. When she changed her name, my sister said we should both change our names and send a message to our parents that they messed up. I told her I loved my name, so I wouldn't be changing it. She asked me if I didn't want an ordinary name, and I said no. Fast forward to today, and my sister met up with an old friend of hers from school. The friend was not around when my sister changed her name, so when they first met up, she was still calling her Lark. My sister corrected her, and the friend accepted it. My sister came to my house the next day and said that her friend had acted surprised to hear she changed her name. She asked the friend why, and the friend said she always thought we had the coolest names, and she was always so jealous, and it surprised her that she didn't like the name. While my sister was at my house, she got so angry about what her friend had said. She even took me aback with the venom she spoke with. She was like, how could anyone prefer Lark to current name? And why would anyone be jealous of a dumb name like that? She told me she despises when people compliment her name, or when she has to correct people who don't know her name today. This isn't the first time my sister got annoyed with people who were shocked that she changed her name, and it's not the first time she's admitted wanting to yell in the face of someone who complimented her old name. This time was the most angry she got though, but it has been a thing for 5 years now. My sister kept ranting away, and then she started saying our parents were crappy parents who only thought of themselves and not us. I told her she needed to calm down because she didn't like her name, and they supported her in changing it. But I love my name, and our parents made no mistake in naming me. She told me I probably loved her old name too and didn't understand her changing it, and she was starting to say screw me and everything when I told her that she was too extreme about the thought that some people would like her old name. I also pointed out that she asked the friend why she was surprised, and all the friend did was be honest. I told her she has the name she chose now, but being so irrationally angry over this is not healthy. My sister didn't take it well, and I feel like I should have seen this coming. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but your sister seems pretty traumatized about her old name. Maybe sit down with her in order to understand. Maybe she was picked on at school for it or something. She needs help saying goodbye for good to the past and the ex name. Please be patient with her. I know a lot of people with unusual names, and sometimes it's just really hard during childhood and teenage years. I disagree. Your sister needs anger management. To be honest, it sounds like she was hoping for more pushback from your parents so that she could properly rebel. She's consciously or otherwise disappointed that your parents supported her instead, and now she's looking for that fight with people who say they like the old name. Sounds like one of those people who just need any reason to be upset all the time. Also, she's like someone who blames her parents for everything bad in her life. Even if they named her Emily, she'd have a problem with them for something, like her skin tone or foot size or something. She's a miserable individual and wants everyone else to be miserable or to feel like they've done something to her. You can't help them. Nothing will ever be good enough. I was invited to my college friend's wedding, and on the invite, he asked for $300 as the wedding gift, as they won't be accepting non-cash contributions. A couple of friends and I wanted to bring our partners to the wedding. My friend said that if guests were to bring a +1, the +1 would have to pay a $300 attendance fee to cover their seat, as they weren't initially invited. My friend said that the wedding cost them $300 per person, so it would be fair for the +1 to pay for their attendance. After looking into the wedding venue, I found their pricing, and it was $250 per person, so $50 less per person, taking everything into account. I feel obligated to attend because my friend is insisting that I attend his wedding since it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I should be there to support him and his bride. We thought our partners would be invited anyway when we first heard about the news because the groom knows them. I was going to give extra to help pay for the seat if I did bring my partner because that's how it is in some cultures, but I was confused about why the price was different. Am I the idiot if I asked my friend about the wedding guest attendance fee? I wouldn't ask, but then I just wouldn't bother to go and spend the $600 on a posh weekend away instead. Who sends invites for a wedding where the guests are expected to pay for it? Is this normal? You're not the idiot, and your friend is a tacky idiot. You don't charge your guests to come to your wedding. If you can't afford it without doing that, you need to scale it back to something you can actually afford. Attendance fee? Who the heck does he think he is? Taylor Swift? I bet you'd have more fun at her concert than at this so-called friend's wedding. Once in a lifetime? Dude, I'm European. I've been to about 20 weddings by the time I turned 6, and there's nothing that special about them. I'd nope right out of that. If attendance fees become a thing, I won't ever attend another wedding. Why do you think the groom is so insistent about people attending? It's because for every person who declines, they have an extra $250. Also, don't gain $50 per guest. So rude. The standard etiquette, at least where I'm from, is that guests are socially expected to give a wedding present, which can be cash, but it's not like a charge of a specific amount to enter the venue. To be honest, unless I was really close to that person, I wouldn't attend if that's how transactional they want to make the wedding. With the way they set it up, it sounds more like a profit-seeking business activity rather than a wedding. I, 55 male, have a daughter, 29, who's getting married next year. I was an involved dad when she was young, and we were close. But when she was in her teens, I cheated on her mother. My daughter didn't accept the divorce well. She didn't and still doesn't understand that while her mother might be the best mother in her eyes, my ex wasn't the perfect wife. I'm not saying what I did was right, and I'm not trying to wiggle out of accepting responsibility for my decision to cheat. If I could do things differently, I would have divorced her mother first. It took me years of counseling to get over PTSD from my ex-wife's emotionally abusive behavior. I tried my best to stay in my daughter's life, but the court couldn't enforce visitation since she was old enough to decide. I paid child support and extra on top of extracurriculars. I was involved in her life as much as she would let me. Periodically, I would reach out and keep the door open. We catch up once in a while. Now, last catch up, she tells me she's getting married. I know of him, but I've never been introduced to her fiancé. I won't receive an invite to her wedding, but she asked if I could contribute. This just rubs me the wrong way. I want to support her, I really do, but I'm sick of being her wallet. I told her I'd think about it, and she said I suck as a dad if I don't support her. Am I the idiot for not forking out for the wedding? I'm at the point where I just want to remove her from my will and leave everything to my nieces and nephews. Not the idiot. She only sees you as her wallet. She wants money, but you don't get an invitation. Forget it. Say to her that you tried to reach out and have a relationship with her, but she didn't want that. You wish her all the best for her wedding, her new partner, and the new chapter in her life, but you won't be in it if she doesn't want you there. And so she doesn't feel guilty you're not paying her for the wedding. Another idea would be to give her the money, but tell her it's the only inheritance she'll ever get. I'm inclined to even take that with a grain of salt, as we only have his perspective. My husband would probably claim I'm emotionally abusive to him. Still, he also refuses to acknowledge that he's neglected and ignored me for a decade, and I'm finally lashing out. I'm not proud, but it's hard not to. So I tend to be a bit suspicious of statements like this, as I've personally been painted as the bad guy, because my husband has the I can do no wrong syndrome. I'm saying that OP's daughter likely doesn't know any better, and there's still hope for her to do and be better. The daughter is nearly 30. She's had at least 10 adult years to go to therapy and work on her issues with dad and with the divorce, something she probably needed to do before getting married. OP, if you write her off, it's only doing yourself a kindness. Your daughter legitimately does not care about you, only your money.